In the previous unit, students learned how to graph two-dimensional data and create models of the data to make predictions. In this unit, students will learn about functions, which are used to model relationships. Prior to engaging in Unit 4, students will need to be able to find the slope of the line that goes through 2 points on a graph, interpret the meaning of a situation from a graph, use a pattern to find the next term in a sequence. In this unit, they will decide whether a relation defines a function or not. Then, they will evaluate functions that are expressed in function notation. Students will also graph linear functions on the coordinate plane. Extending this skill, students will identify key features of the graph and determine transformations applied to the parent function f of x equals x. Graphing linear functions will also support students' ability to describe domain and range using inequalities for real-world situations. Lastly, they will identify terms of arithmetic and geometric sequences and write a formula for the nth term of arithmetic and geometric sequences, given the value of several of their terms. Let's take a look at the vertical alignment for representing, evaluating, and solving in mathematical and other contexts, standards 12A and 12B. This unit is the first time students will be introduced to relations and functions. When students get to Algebra 2, they will need to determine if a relation is a function to understand the relationship between nonlinear functions and their inverses. The vertical alignment for identifying key attributes 3A, B, and C is shown. Let's explore what students should already know before engaging in this unit. As part of developing their foundational understanding of slope, students learn to identify and interpret rates given in problem situations, and then calculate the unit rate from this information. Then, in 8th grade, students begin analyzing slope through multiple representations. They use similar triangles to visually develop the concept of slope as a rate of change on graphs. From tables, students learn how to determine slope from the formula or by graphing, and they also graph proportional relationships to discover the unit rate is the slope. This background leads to students in Algebra 1 determining slope from different situations and writing linear equations in different forms. Students in Algebra 1 will calculate slope from tables, graphs, or algebraically. They will learn to identify more key features of the graphs of linear functions, including the y-intercept and zeros, and to use those features to graph linear functions on a coordinate plane. Now let's explore the vertical alignment for determining domain and range, standard 2A. Students learn concepts in 6th and 8th grade that prepare them for this topic. In 6th grade, students used tables and graphs to identify quantities that are independent and those that are dependent. In 8th grade, students were introduced to functions in their many forms: graphs, tables, mappings, and ordered pairs. The knowledge of functions and independent and dependent quantities helps students in Algebra 1 to determine the domain and range of linear functions and other real-world situations. They will represent domain and range symbolically using inequalities. The use of this notation will expand in Algebra 2 to include interval notation and set notation. Students have considerable background from 6th through 8th grades to prepare for representing linear relationships, standards 2, 2B, 2C, 2E, 2F, and 2G in Algebra 1. Let's look at this vertical alignment, starting with topics from 6th grade. In 6th grade, students learn to take values from a table and write equations that represent the linear relationship between them. Also, students learn a variety of representations for linear relationships. These include graphs and equations, as well as tables and verbal descriptions. In 7th grade, students continued to represent more complex linear relationships using verbal descriptions, tables, graphs, and equations. 8th grade students expanded their knowledge of linear relationships to include representing non-proportional situations in several formats. They learned to distinguish between proportional relationships and non-proportional relationships, and then learned to model the linear relationship by writing equations in the form y equals mx plus b. This background leads to representing linear relationships in Algebra 1. In this unit, students will write linear equations in various forms and given multiple contexts. For instance, when given a point and the slope, or 2 points, students will write linear equations in standard form, point-slope form, or slope-intercept form. They also learn to write equations from graphs, tables, or verbal descriptions. Finally, they write equations of lines parallel or perpendicular to a given line or to the x or y axis. Algebra 1 supporting standards 4C and 12C and 12D are also covered in this Unit 4. Please explore the vertical alignment for these standards so you know what students should know as they approach this unit and how you can best remediate those who need it. As you move through this unit and find students who have gaps in their understanding of the prerequisite skills, consider using these resources available in the OpenStax Pre-Algebra book.